Who's down with ACB? Yeah, you know me. Amy Coney Barrett is being treated like a perp in the interrogation room this week, meaning it must be time for the confirmation hearings for her to become the next Supreme Court justice, replacing the notorious RBG who died in office rather than retire and live out her ancient years. Oh, and don't worry, Kamalama Ding Dong is along for the ride. I'm Katie Petrick, and this is Healthy Republic. It's Ladies' Week here at Healthy Republic, where we will talk about an intelligent, well-spoken, principled, and inspirational woman, and also Kamala Harris. Judge Amy Coney Barrett has been metaphorically tortured this week through the Supreme Court confirmation hearings and the stupidity that ensued. Let me know in the comments if you watched and what your highlights were. For those who didn't watch, I took the time to compile a list of coherent and respectful questions, along with some solid points that were made by the Democratic senators during the hearing. More on that later. For now, here is what was actually spouted at ACB.
What the heck is the Senate doing, particularly the Senate Republicans?
And I'm not going to ask again, just this last time, criminalizing it.
Well,
would it be constitutional? I think there's a clear answer.
Something is not right around the court. And dark money has a lot to do with it. Special interests have a lot to do with it. Donors' trust and whoever's hiding behind donors' trust has a lot to do with it. And the Bradley Foundation orchestrating its amici over at the court has a lot to do with it.
Get out your tinfoil conspiracy hats, everybody.
Much as you sit here telling me that you would follow the law, I know that there was some discussion about some distinction that you make about policy versus the law, and I find that distinction to be a fiction. Because every law, or most laws we pass, are supposed to have real-world impacts. Otherwise, why should we pass a law?
I'm going to take you back in history for a moment and note that when that Second Amendment was written, and you did the analysis of it, we were talking about the likelihood that a person could purchase a muzzle-loading musket. We are now talking about virtual military weapons that can kill hundreds of innocent people. It is a much different circumstance. Maybe an originalist pins all their thinking to that musket, but I've got to bring it to the 21st century.
How dare you mansplain her? What a dick, Durbin. Here's yet another old white man to announce how dangerous and harmful ACB will be for virtually anything and everything.
They're scared that the clock will be turned back to a time when women had no right to control their own bodies, and when it was acceptable to discriminate against women in the workplace. They're scared that at a time when we are facing the perilous impacts of climate change, bedrock environmental protections are going to be eviscerated. And they're scared that your confirmation would result in the rolling back of voting rights, workers' rights, and the rights of the LGBTQ community to equal treatment.
And yet, here's what ACB said over and over and over again to those who refuse to listen.
my policy views, my moral convictions, my religious beliefs do not bear on how I decide cases, nor should they. It would be, it would be in conflict with my judicial oath.
Was the president wrong in concluding that you would vote to overturn Roe v. Wade?
Well, Senator, again, I can't make any statements, no hints, forecasts, or previews, as Justice Ginsburg put it, about any case or any precedent, but I will repeat what I've said, throughout this hearing, that I made no promises to anyone. I have no agenda. There are 598 volumes of the United States reports. That's something that judges build on. Justices don't go to the court to start having a book burning.
The problem right there with Judge Barrett's statement is the bringing up of books, of which Mazie Hirono clearly has never opened.
Take a look, it's in a book, a reading rainbow.
Sadly, Hirono got even dumber as she asked the judge two jaw-dropping questions in front of her children.
Since you became a legal adult, have you ever made unwanted requests for sexual favors or committed any verbal or physical harassment or assault of a sexual nature?
No, Senator Hirono.
Have you ever faced discipline or entered into a settlement related to this kind of conduct?
No, Senator.
Evil really does exist. Aloha. And that's the segue I needed into talking about Kamala Ding Dong as promised. Now, we're talking about her for good reason. After all, she wants to be vice president, she's on the Senate Judiciary Committee, and she's the woman who the left idolizes as a feminist, while ACB is the so clearly not in their minds. So, what did Harris actually have to say to ACB?
Every American must understand that with this nomination, equal justice under law is at stake. Our voting rights are at stake. Workers' rights are at stake. Consumer rights are at stake. The right to a safe and legal abortion is at stake. And holding corporations accountable is at stake.
Wait a minute. I've heard that rhetorical device a hot second ago.
If you have a pre-existing condition, heart disease, diabetes, breast cancer, they're coming for you. If you love someone who has a pre-existing condition, they're coming for you. If you are under the age of 26 on your parents' coverage, they're coming for you.
Okay then. Everything is at stake, and they're coming for you. With threats like those, Kamala is taking over Nancy Pelosi's role as Wicked Witch of the West.
I'll get you, my pretty, and your little dog, too.
Whoa. She actually has the same laugh as Harris. So did Kamala Ding Dong say anything on day 2 of the hearings when she should have been questioning ACB?
Senator Harris, if you could, there you are. We see you. Can you say something?
I'm speaking.
I'm
speaking.
Okay, the floor is yours. Senator Harris.
Now, as you can see, no one really cares what Harris was saying because she began her long diatribe by campaigning. So let's not waste too much of our time. But when people did pay attention, Harris continued her condescension, as she likes to do from time to time.
Well, I imagine you were surrounded by a team of folks that helped prepare you for this nomination hearing.
I have
Did
had.
they?
Yes.
Did they, but let me finish if you don't mind.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
But I don't want to sound all doom and gloom about these proceedings. After all, my favorite senator, possibly of all time, was present. Senator John Kennedy of Louisiana. If anyone out there can get in touch with him, please do share this video with them. Team, y'all should respect this man because, you know, he's just an average guy who likes using that little thing called common sense.
Take comfort in the fact that the American people, some of my colleagues disagree with this statement. They believe in government. I believe in people. The American people are not morons.
He likes the nation's pastime, and in my humble opinion, the best of all sports.
I think our founders intended federal judges to call balls and strikes. I don't think our founders intended for federal judges to be able to redraw the strike zone.
And he likes pop culture as much as the next guy.
We all watched the hearings for Justice Kavanaugh. It was a freak show. It looked like the cantina bar scene out of Star Wars.
Seriously, if you have his contact, help me out. Now, on the other end of the spectrum, from common sense, was Cory Booker. One benefit of having to wear a mask throughout all of day 1 of the hearing for ACB was that she could hide the laughter and or cringe just a little bit better. But it was obvious that nothing could hide the lion eyes of Booker, who in true Spartacus fashion let his emotions rule the day as Mr. Potato Head.
Without Roe v. Wade, our country looks like people being denied the ability to make decisions about their own bodies. Not just while they're pregnant, but being stripped of the right to plan for their futures. It looks like women of color, low-income women, and women living in rural areas who can't just pack up and leave if abortion is restricted or criminalized where they live. It looks like them being left with no options. It looks like state laws proliferating throughout our country that seek to control and criminalize women.
ACB is clearly a better woman than me because I would have been visibly cringing and laughing all at the same time. Now, as you saw with your non-buggy eyes, Cory Booker was reading his script, a script that is not needed for those with working prefrontal cortexes like this Supreme Court nominee.
You know, most of us have multiple notebooks and notes and books and things like that in front of us. Can you hold up what you've been referring to in answering our questions? Is there anything on it?
That letterhead that says United States Senate.
There were plenty of good sound bites, and by good, I generally mean more cringy, unless the nominee was speaking, of course. But you can waste away watching all of the hearing on your own. I can assure you that Amy Coney Barrett will never sit through that pain again. Hopefully, she'll be too busy serving as a Supreme Court justice anyway. Until next time, stay healthy, America. Hey team, you all know it takes a lot of work to get all of this together, and we continue to be demonetized by Facebook and YouTube. If you like hearing truth and common sense with a love for freedom, please join the Patriot Club with a $99 tax-deductible donation. And you'll get this sweet vessel of joy as part of a thank you for joining the Patriot Club. All you have to do is visit patriotclub.us and become a Patriot member today. That's patriotclub.us. You'll be helping us so we can keep helping you.